8th March 2024 is the Women's Day and also the Shivratri. Great combination, right? While I truly believe that every day is a Women's Day, and all the men would tend to believe that every day is a Women's Day and men has got no role to play in that day. Being a woman, I also get inspired by many women. For example, I'm very highly influenced by Indra Nooyi, Mother Teresa, Shishmita Sen. But in the social connections, I have people who also inspires me to do my little best things in the day-to-day life. This year, I have decided to introduce my friend Anika Luthra, who has been a great friend over the years, and I have seen her journey from where she was and what she is today. And I thought of bringing those experiences of hers to all of you just to see if you could draw any inferences about yourself and do a small little change in your lifestyle or the ways that you do things so that you can be another woman who could inspire others. Hi, Anika.
Hi,
Very nice
Juma.
to meet you. And as it's a pleasure talking to you today. And, considering that the Women's Day is around the corner and the world is talking about the inspiring ladies or inspiring women, I thought of bringing you to my channel because you are one of the women who did inspire me. When I met you once, your tagline stated and stayed with me when you said, invest in yourself to get the ROI. That pretty much stayed with me, okay? And that's the line which I keep saying to everybody whom I meet. But what really inspired me, apart from the mental and the body that we are going to talk about later, is also your decisions and how your journey has been from a corporate leader to the US university studies, to the entrepreneurship and the coach, Anika. And of course, we are talking about many more as we go along. So, talk to me about it, about your journey, and I would be definitely, absolutely thrilled to listen more about it.
Thanks very much, Juma. Really a pleasure being here. So, the journey from Qatar to US was initiated after about 2 decades of a successful career in Qatar. I also grew up in Qatar as an expatriate. And you know, that journey of 2 decades in the corporate world was exciting. I learned a lot. It was a lot of fun until one day it wasn't. So I think, many of us probably have experienced
Yes.
this at some point.
But they are not very sure of taking those decisions which you could take it, right? And that's probably the reason why you are here with me.
Right. So I think the difference over there, at least for someone like me, was I've never been good with accepting a status quo which is unfulfilling. That compromising with a situation which can bring about some change or some difference. For me, it's, well, let's explore it. I think the whole concept of being in a comfort zone, the whole concept of being in a very safe and secured position, it was the first time when it hit me. I didn't move on it immediately. Took about 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
But once the seed was planted, that we can do something about this and we can change this situation. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable, but actually sitting in the very comfort zone was getting very uncomfortable.
Okay.
So embracing the curiosity of the unknown seemed thrilling.
Very true, because after the 20 years of corporate job, then leaving everything and then moving to US for studies, I think that decision, I was like, really? And how did she take that decision? And that's something which is very inspiring to take that risk of leaving everything, the comfort zone, as you rightly mentioned, and moving into that unknown zone. Was it your
Right.
sole decision or was it you? Means what made you
It
think
was
so?
it was initiated by me. I was already married at the time, so this decision was not going to be, had to be a collective decision between myself and my partner. And it was one of the reasons, that it took 3 to 4 years before we could collectively make this decision.
Okay.
But it was very clear to me that it was time to probably move on. I think also having been having grown up as an expat, which meant that you knew that you were never going to live in that country forever. You could still live there for a really long time, but until retirement if I wanted. But and that would have been easy, honestly. It would have been easy. It would have been very comfortable. But it just wasn't desirable. And in order to look for what's next, I didn't exactly know what's next. But the only thing that I knew that I had figured out the last time what's next was at university. So I said, fine, let's go back to university.
How does a university look like? Let me experience how things have changed. And so you've experienced the university in the US.
Right. And to me, I took it as this was my second master's, so I took it as a second chance at something that maybe I could do better than the first time. Okay. So, and I didn't mean about being a better student, but taking the opportunity of the platform of opportunities that a university campus provides in terms of community involvement, in terms of engagement, in terms of learning different versatility of skills. I decided to do that. I decided to do everything that I shied away from doing the first time. Okay. Because this time I just wanted to go and say, you know what, I'm probably not coming back to university again.
So this time it was not your mom and dad who was forcing you to the university, right? It is you, purely your decision.
Well, yeah, the first one was also mine. I have to say the first one was mine as well. But the first one was very much triggered by the career choice that I had at the time.
Sure. Yep.
This I was more on a path of self-discovery and exploration. Okay. I was open to learning and figuring out what it is that I wanted to do next.
Great.
And with that openness, I was able to quickly figure out during my time there what my new career path was going to be in research and strategy, which I started consulting in. But also I figured out that it was time for me to kick off my path of entrepreneurship, something that I also wanted to do from a very long time.
Sure. Inherent that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but couldn't find out the ways during your corporate working time. But yeah, I can relate to that very well. But what made you bring back to India though?
So, well, we were there as students. So student visa comes to an expiration date. And the idea initially was that we would get some jobs in the US and perhaps, look for a new country to migrate to. You have to remember, we still had the expat mindset.
Sure.
So, but who's going to hire 40 and 50-year-olds, right? Fresh out of university. International students. So, or perhaps that was, I have to say, maybe, the universe's way of saying, all right, time for you to do something of your own. So after 150 rejected applications, I decided it was time. And I kicked off my profile to becoming a freelancer on the day I received my last rejection. And that's it. From a freelancer to then an entrepreneur. And since the visa was coming, to an end, we had to move home base now. We couldn't live in the US anymore. We had three choices. Go back to Qatar.
Yep.
Because that's the easy way.
Easiest way, right? Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Easiest way. Find another country where we can get another job because we've got all this experience and all this education behind us. But then that would kind of be like a repeat of the previous chapter. Or how about we move to India, somewhere that we haven't lived before?
You have your connections as well. So your home connections, exactly, and your parents there, relatives there.
Exactly. We had a home base now. It was, it came down to, why did we even move out of Qatar? And one of the things was we were looking for freedom. Freedom of what we wanted to do with passion on our own. And we were unable to do that in Qatar, and we were unable to do that in the US. Well, can we do that in India? Yes, we can. All right, let's go. And that's how we landed in India.
Excellent. I think everybody would be inspired to listen to this by checking that how you took those decisions, what came your way. So it's not easy. We have to accept these changes are definitely not easy. But as long as your mindset is there to explore something new and gain that benefits, is something that everybody should look forward, according to me. And now that you are a coach, you are an entrepreneur, I'm also very, very inspired. Not only, I'm sure, your toned body, right? Not only the men of the world is inspired, but I have to say, many women in our known circle and the unknown circles are also very influenced. So, talk to me about it. How did this happen? And I know you've been doing Devil Circuit, and I don't know what all that you're doing, but definitely that definitely inspires me a lot.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Juma. I'm really humbled, honestly. The it's not been an intention for me to inspire people through my fitness journeys, but definitely heartwarming to hear that it does. Um, the fitness journey again started as an act of curiosity to explore what my body was capable of. I got the opportunity to go on a couple of treks which required me to get into better fitness health, and from there I did fall in love with the mountains, and I fell in love with the outdoors, and I fell in love with being involved in a physical activity in the outdoors which I had never experienced before. And from that, the desire to want to conquer more summits and climb more mountains brought me, into seeking a personal trainer who could get me into the shape to be ever ready pretty much for a trek, because now I live in a country which is, filled with beauty that I would love to explore, and hopefully we can do that this year. So that's how it started. And over my journey with my personal trainer over the last 2 years, what I realized was the purpose I got into fitness shifted over time. What it has now become is part of who I am, because I have cultivated a relationship with my physical training for it to be my superpower. It's like a pill that I need to take every day,
Every morning.
or regularly.
Yep.
How many ever times you are disciplined on your regime. Because if I start my mornings with challenging myself to do something which is pushing myself beyond my threshold of comfort, then that helps me with the mental strength during the course of the day, right? For the challenges that I face at my work front, or the balance of emotions that I probably need to practice while managing
Both at
between my
work or
home
home.
and my work.
Work and home, for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
I
So
picked it up from you as well. And I think that is one thing I am still not there where you are, but I wish to. But definitely, yes, that's something that gives me a kick as well to do it every day, every morning, to get that pill and then get started. I think that's something which I'm trying to get disciplined as well. Inspired by you
right.
for sure.
Thank you.
So, what's your message to the women today in this century, Anika, when you see so many in India, of course, and you've seen the world pretty much by now? So, what's your message to all the women group that we have in today's Women's Day this year?
I mean, firstly, Jama, I think a woman anywhere in the world faces the reality of the world that we live in today. Highly fast, highly competitive, highly demanding on all fronts. And with, I think, the roles that women play, the ambitions that women want to pursue, what tends to happen is many women get lost over the years,
That's true.
trying to prove themselves to be the best at the role that they are demonstrating at the time, multiple ones during the course of the day. And here, what I would definitely want to leave for the women is take care of everyone around you, for sure. We are built for it, but start with taking care of yourself first. If you take care of your friends and your loved ones with so much love and care and joy, then don't you owe that to yourself as well? Because for me, I am not one to say put others before yourself. I am one to say you should be your biggest fan first.
अपनी जिंदगी जी लो. Live for yourself first, then you can live for
Exactly.
others.
Absolutely. And in fact, if your life is full, you will have more to give others.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a very, very powerful message, Anika, and I completely believe in that as well. I believe in living my world first, then the others. No disrespect to anyone that we are not taking care of our family or the loved ones, but for sure it is for me as well. It is take care of myself first, than the others.
Mm.
So thank you very much for joining me today and wish you a very, very happy Women's Day this year. And the every day is a Women Day, I know that for sure. And we conquered the world. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me, Jama, and
Thank you.
a very, very happy Women's Day to you as well.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.